How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and in today's video I've got for you a guide on how to do the Master Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost Sector. If you're looking to farm exotics, this is not a bad option. The Master Bay of Drowned Wishes isn't much more difficult than the Legend version is. That of course is going to depend on what your light level is, however. Now in this one I am going to show you a full run on a Warlock, then I'm going to show you just the boss fight on a Titan and a Hunter because the runs up until that point are basically the same. So before I jump into my loadouts here, as always, remember to hit that like button, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, for you Warlocks out there, I do recommend using Chaos Reach and Geomag Stabilizers if possible. This super is going to get a 50% damage boost, and it's a good long range super for the boss. As for weapon recommendations, in the kinetic slot I would recommend using any sort of kinetic, auto, or submachine gun. However, I would recommend an auto rifle over a submachine gun. In my energy slot, I do have the Insidious Pulse Rifle, which does arc damage, which is also boosted by 50%. Now, if you don't want to use a pulse rifle, you could swap this out for an arc hand cannon. However, I prefer the pulse rifle because it's decent at clearing adds at a range. So if you don't have the raid pulse rifle, don't worry too much about it. You can swap it out for any of the other arc pulse rifle, like the Geon 7 or the Darkest Before. In my heavy slot, I do have the Tarantula Arc Linear Fusion Rifle, and this is also going to get that 50% damage boost, which is going to make this an excellent weapon choice here. Linear Fusion Rifles are going to have a bit of a better ammo economy than rocket launchers in this particular lost sector, and this Tarantula can 3 to 4 hit any champion as long as you hit your crits. If you don't have the Tarantula, you could swap this out for another Linear Fusion Rifle, or you could give an Arc Rocket Launcher a try. You may also notice I'm not using an exotic here, so you could also give an exotic a go. Something like Gallarhorn would be a great powerhouse weapon here. Now as for my armor mods, they're going to be the same on all three classes, so I'm just going to show them to you once on my Warlock. If you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Alright, and that's it for the mods. Now I'm going to show you any minor changes to the loadout between my Titan and Hunter runs as well. Alright, so for changes to my Titan run, of course I can't use Chaos Reach, so instead I'm going to be using Thunder Crash with Cuirass of the Falling Star. Other than that, everything else is the same, all of my weapon selection is the same, and the armor mods are the same as well. Now for you Hunters out there, you could use something like Arc Strider, however I do recommend Mobius Quiver. I think it's a bit of a safer option. With that, I do have the Orpheus Rig. And again, everything else is going to be the same for my loadout. Armor mods and weapons are exactly the same on all three classes. With that said, there are going to be timestamps in the description down below if you want to skip to a particular run or boss fight. But now, let's get into it. Alright, so here we are with a master run of the Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost Sector. So I'm going to toss a grenade there near that first group of adds. I'm going to prioritize the Screams because they will help blow up any additional enemies in the area. Next, I'm going to go for the Unstoppable Champion. I'm going to stun it, then use my Linear Fusion. 3 shots takes it out. That's why Tarantula is a good choice here. Of course, not everybody's going to have that, so if you don't have Tarantula, you can sub out for a different Linear Fusion Rifle. I'm going to prioritize the Screams while trying to block the champion there. I'm going to wait for another stun, and then I'm going to try to take the champion out. And 2 shots. Of course, it took some damage from the Screams as well. I'm going to stun this champion right off the bat. With that champion down, I'm going to finish off the Screams here. Destroy any of these mines. Now we are going to have the one void shield that's in this lost sector up top there. So I am going to try to take it out with my other weapons. If you did have a void linear fusion instead, that would be a good time to use that. However, that wasn't necessary in this case. I am going to toss a grenade on that group of adds. It should clear out most of them except for the overload, of course. And then I'm going to go for the overload. Watch out for any grenades coming in. Those will do a ton of damage. Take out these Screebs now. Don't want those bothering me while I'm trying to take out the champion. Take out any of these totems that the champion spawns. We will get the champion stunned here eventually. There it is. And the champion is down. Be careful for any more Screeb spawns. Alright, now we're gonna try to spawn kill a lot of these other Screeb spawns on the outer area. There's going to be 3 of them, one to the left, one to the right, and then one that comes from where the champion is. If you have Screeb spawn on you like that, be careful. You may not want to stand here, in fact. You could always move to, like, the leftmost Screeb spawn instead. But we should be fine at this point. So, what I'm going to do is stun the champion. I'm going to crit twice and body once, and then finish, because I do have Lucent Finisher on. And that will give me a little bit of extra heavy ammo. As we approach the boss room, I'm definitely going to be taking out the servitors that are sitting around like that. I don't want to deal with those. Then I'm going to be throwing a grenade right down below me. Stunning that champion. Watching for any of these Ravagers that make it up here. Watching out for any grenades. I'm going to try to stun the champion again. And then I'm going to kill this champion. 4 linear fusions because one of them was a body shot. And here's where I recommend a pulse rifle because you can easily take out enemies in the distance like that. There is going to be another overload champion on over there. You do want to be careful because he can launch his attacks way over here. I'm going to back away periodically. And now I'm going to try to go for the stun at this distance with an auto rifle. It's going to be a bit challenging. First, I'm going to take the totem out, of course. Now that he's stunned. Try to hit all my headshots. Another wave of adds is going to spawn. And this one is going to include the boss. And so with the boss out, I want to kind of focus on other enemies that push me, but I don't really have to take out these enemies in the distance unless I'm worried about that grenade spam like that. There is a totem coming my way, but if you do end up to a point where there's no more adds, you can go ahead and super the boss. Chaos Reach is excellent. For Titans, Thunder Crash. For Hunters, Arc Strider is actually not too bad here either. If you do use Arc Strider, you have to look out for this wave of adds that spawns after the boss is dead or towards the end of the boss's life, because there are Screebs and they will kill you out of your super. But this was a complete run of the Bay of Drowned Wishes Master Lost Sector in Season of the Risen. Now I'm going to show you just the boss fight on a Titan and a Hunter so you can get a feel for that. Otherwise, the run is going to be the same up until that point. Alright, so as we approach the boss room on my Titan, I'm going to destroy those like I did on my Warlock. I'm going to toss a grenade on down there. Take out any of these Ravagers that come my way. Alright, now we're going to try to go for this champion, perhaps. Stun it. Hit some linear fusion, and then I'm going to swap to my auto rifle to prevent healing. Stun it again, and since I'm low on heavy, I'll swap to my pulse rifle. Now I can finish off any of these adds and spawn the next wave of enemies. Back away just a little bit. And I'm going to reload that. Let's try to go for this Overload champion. So the Overload is stunned. And I'm going to finish it off since that will be the last of my heavy. I won't have any to use, but there's not really a need for it at this point. Now I'm going to finish off these enemies, and we should be on the wave that contains the boss. Just going to clear out some enemies here. Back away just so those Ravagers that run up to me like that don't bother me. We'll destroy this totem. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop my super and go for the boss. When I do that, I'm going to get an overshield. However, there is going to be a wave of ads that spawns up here. I had a grenade available. If you don't have a grenade available, you can shoot them as well. But now I can head for the chest. So that was just the boss fight on a Titan, and now I'm going to show you the boss fight on a Hunter as well. Alright, so here we are in the boss room. So I did mention using Arcstrider at the end of my Warlock run, but I think Mobius Quiver would be the safer option in this instance. You don't have to get up close and personal to the enemy, and you don't have to worry about the screams that spawn afterwards. So what I'm going to do is now go for this Overload Champion. And that did not work out as planned. Unfortunately, it might be just a better option to take out the enemies that surround the champion instead and then worry about the champion. Even though it moves to the back of the arena, makes it a little bit more difficult to stun, but it might be the safer bet. So now that it's stunned again, I have the champion down. Now let's spawn the next wave of ads by clearing out the remainder. Focus on the Ravagers first here. I'm gonna back away. Alright, let's see if we can get the stun. Actually, it looks like there's some other stalkers peeking out instead of the champion currently. So I'll deal with those. Take out the champion's totem. And go for the stun on the champion. Champion down. One more enemy before the boss wave. Alright, now that the boss is pretty much the only enemy left, I'm going to destroy this totem, and then I'm going to go ahead and super the boss. And another benefit of using Mobius Quiver is you can use one of the fragments to go invisible and skip all of the enemies, and then you don't have to worry about fighting them. And there we have it. I hope that this video helped you out, whether you're on a Hunter, Warlock, or Titan, and you want to try the Master Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost Sector if you're on a pursuit of certain exotics. On the day of posting this video, it is dropping arms, and so there are a couple of good options this season. You have the Osmiomancy gloves for Warlocks, and you have the Renewal Grasps for Hunters. So, good luck on your pursuit of exotic armor, and if you enjoyed today's video, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.